Hi, I'm Bakra12, and today we play with particles and sensors. This is an exclusive tutorial for you guys. It's been 5 years with TouchDesigner. Thank you so much for your support. In this tutorial, we sense each particle, and when it hits another line, the particle will turn 90 degrees. So let's start this from scratch. So first we need a constant chop, and let's set here the resolution. So let's go with level of 80, the count. Let's go to 32 for now. Radius, maybe 1 divided by 5 to 1, and speed. Let's go with 0.625 for now. And so I'll have a null here. Insert another one here in between. Collapse selected. I don't need this end null, and now I have this window. Okay. Now let's see if we want 32 particles. Okay. Maybe we need a texture. So let's go inside here. We need to select and select the count and rename it map. Okay, and now we use math chop and we go root and ceiling, and now we have this 6 map. This is merge, so we merge together. Okay, and now we have the texture, the size of the texture in which we have the particles. And since we will use feedback, let's put here the keyboard in. Okay, and I actually like to chain a trigger right after. You see, when you press 1, you have this sloppy signal, and I want to have only 1 frame. So I'll set to 0 everything here, everything but the peak level, and now I have only 1 frame in which I reset what I need. So let's rename this, okay, into reset, and we're good to go. Okay, now I want to have the texture for 32 particles. Okay, so let's have a noise top. Okay, and we use this size map. Okay, this is nearest pixels and 32 RG. Okay, not monochrome. And I would like to have this nicely in a base, so click outside, collapse selected, and I name this count. Okay, and let's go inside. First we need to solve this issue with resolution reference. Okay, not this one, it's 6. Okay, like this. And here we have 36, so we need 32, and we use for this my favorite component. So point clouds, point repack. Okay, so I repack once with count by 1. Okay, and I repack the second time with this map. And so now I have this black pixels set to 0. So I'm good here. I will use an out. Okay, let's make this black. And I also want to have a texture 0 and 1 for for marking the points. So where I have values, I need white, and here for the 0, I will have black. We can do this. So let me chain an out, the second one, and here we insert a null and collapse selected. And this one is mask. Okay. Let's go inside. So we need a matte top, and let's go with nearest pixels. Here in we take square in pre-operator, square, add, mark the alpha. This is 32 mono. Okay, we need to sealing everything, and now I use a limit to make sure I clamp these values in between 0 and 1, because sometimes yeah, that can go above 1 or under 0, so we don't want that. Clamp 0. Okay. This is the texture we need. Okay, and now we go with the feedback. Remember, we need to add in a loop the vector direction, okay, for each particles. So let's have this black, and I use the reset for the feedback for pulse and reset. Okay, here we need add. Okay, and also we need some directions, okay, some vectors, and we have this noise. Let's go with 6 by 6. Okay, this is 32 mono, no, 32 RG, sorry. Okay, like this, and offset to 0. Okay, now I have direction in I have vectors in all the directions. Okay, if I want, because some of them are small, some other vectors are bigger. Okay, if I want them all having the length 1, and this will result in a constant speed for all the particles. So let's have here normalize. Okay, so I can normalize the values. Okay, let's go inside and set this to nearest pixels. Okay, so I have a bunch of directions, and now I want to make them as small as I'll be sure my particle will travel each pixels, more or less. So for that I need to scale down here, okay, with 1 divided by the resolution. So I'll have the resolution here, 1 divided, and I can bring the speed here also. I'll just drop it for the post add, but then I cut it out, and here I multiply with the speed value. Okay, let's go like this now. So now we have the particle loop, okay, but we need to limit the particles in between 0 and 1, as if we have a look here for the to see the points, you see all of them will go outside. So let's prevent this to happen. So okay, I will have a null here, and I can make this pink, because I will use it for instances, and let's name this position. Okay, now here in the feedback loop I use limit. Okay, and we can use one limit, as we have ratio 1 for this particular tutorial, and we only need one limit. So let's limit here with loop in between 0 1. Okay. Now let's see some particles. So we go with circle like this, and let's use this radius for the circle and geometry like this. We need a camera. Camera has to be orthographic, bottom left and 1 here, a render. Okay, we take off the anti-alias and we go with our resolution. This is 32 RGBA. Okay, we good. We don't see anything yet. Okay, because we didn't use this texture. So we drag this texture here, RNG, and also we use a constant material. Okay, now you see the dots. Let's use here a feedback. So in image filter, feedback, okay, and use this reset for the feedback. Let's go with 0.99. Okay, so we have the lines. Let's have a null here. Have a look to it. So split left and right, go with top. Okay. Now we see here what we do. And we can check what color is in the line we are about to cross. Okay, and if the value is bigger than whatever, then we can say okay, turn 90 degrees, or if that pixel value it's lower than a certain value, you go ahead. Okay, so we can do that, but we can also have here a threshold, and yeah, this threshold can take care of this value. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now the directions are quite strange from the middle to outside, and this is because I believe here for this noise we need to change the seed to be different than the position, okay, which is here in the count. So let's try again. Okay, now it's much better. So in order to check if a certain particle is about to cross a line or not, we need to check this texture. Okay, so we can call this texture a buffer. Okay, now we want to build a kind of a smart switch for all the particles, and that switch can take the direction, initial direction, okay, or when it's the case, that switch will trigger the perpendicular vector. Okay, and let's do that. So let's have a little space here, because I want to use feedback. Okay, so don't mind the output for a moment, because sometimes it can get broken. So let's finish this. Okay, I have a feedback here. Okay, now I use a mate. Okay, and let's connect all the inputs. Okay, now on the top line I insert a null like this. I click outside and collapse selected, and let's name this perpendicular. Okay, let's have a bit more room. Okay. Now here on the top line, I insert a null, collapse selected, and I want to name this trigger. Okay. So this mate takes 3 inputs, and the third one it's 0 or 1, and depends on that value the input 1 or input 2 it's taken here in this okay, and we want to build here a perpendicular for whatever vector we have. So this is very simple. Okay, let's delete this null and go math. And actually before math it's reorder. Okay, let's have these two nearest pixels, and in the reorder we switch green with red like this. So no, okay, so this is green, this is red, like this. And now we multiply with -1, but we mask the green. Okay. Now in this texture, I'll have a perpendicular vector of this one here. Okay. And here for the trigger, let's see. We know where the particles are. The particle position is actually the tip of the line. Okay. And we want to sense, we want to check what's a little bit in front of the particle. Okay, so for that we know that here is the direction. Obviously is very big. Okay, so we need to take care of this, because it's length of 1. And let's bring this big resolution here, and for that I want to use a feedback. Okay, so I'll have a constant just to set the feedback. This is 0. Okay, it's 32 Rg. Okay, now I have a feedback. Okay. And let me split top and bottom and go outside and take the buffer. Okay, so now I'll take the buffer. Okay, now I need another texture, which also I want to take it with a feedback from in the texture. It's in a loop, it's always moving, changing. Okay, and I want to take it and analyze, and so I use a feedback for that. So let me use this here. It's 6. Okay, in this feedback I want to have the position. Okay, now let's close this, and this is the direction. Okay, where in which direction we go. We have it here. Okay, this is the positions. Okay, so we want to add the direction to the position, but not the big direction like length 1. Instead, so small that we can check what's the next pixel, or 3 pixels ahead, or whatever we want. Okay, so let's use here a math. Okay, and we scale this down 1 divided by. So this is like the particle will go will have the sensor 1 pixel in front. Sometimes maybe it's not enough, depends on the anti-alias and stuff like that. We can multiply here with 4, and we are good. Okay, now we have little vectors here. Let's add them. to our points. Okay. Now, I would like to have another out here, like this, and maybe another geometry just to see the sensor. Okay, so yeah, let's go like this. Another render. Let me make sure each render takes the correct geometry, like this. Okay, let's have the sensors a different color. Okay, like green maybe. Okay, and yeah, I want to check, and I will use over, and not I'm not going here. I will leave this buffer alone. Okay, and let's have a look on this. So now you see the green dots. They are very small. So let's make them a little bit bigger. Now you can see them. Okay, and yeah, the green, it's much bigger than 1 pixel, and so this is why you don't see the distance we have here. Okay, so this one, if we multiply with 16, oh, sorry about that. So here we need the trigger out too. Okay, trigger out too, because this is where we have the sensors. Okay, now we are 16 pixels in front. Okay, so using 4 is it's good enough. Okay, now here in this texture I have the position for my sensors, and I want to remap this texture, the big one, okay, the buffer, with this one. And so let's go with 6 by 6. Okay, nearest pixels. So we good. And where we have white pixels, that means the sensor is staying above some line. Okay, so that is a trigger for the particles to turn 90 degrees. Okay, now let's have this here. Let me use reorder just to make this texture monochrome. Okay. Okay, and this matte should take matte channel luminance, and let's see now. Okay, now I reset. Okay, it's not turning 90 degrees, but yeah, a bit stranger than turning. Let me see what we have here. Okay, position. Okay, buffer. Oh, okay. Now this feedback has to take the matte. So this is what we forgot. Okay, now we good. Okay, so we always have either the vector or the perpendicular, and so this matte, it's working like a switch in between those two. according with what signal we have here. Okay, so now let's see without sensors. Okay, or let's see the feedback. Okay, now let's go with 64 particles. And what I would like to have here, it's also the ability to start in a specific direction, okay? As if we always turn 90 degrees, if we start with direction in 90 degrees, then we have some nice pattern. So let's see how can we have that. First, let me use a transform here to set the background to black, and we can also move this we need to extend repeat, and so we can move this. Remember, when we limit the loop, the particles loop, we use this limit. Okay, so the particle goes out here in a right, he comes back in a left side. So yeah, and let me use this noise, but I need it monochrome. Okay, so let's have some nice angles to start with. Okay, I insert a null here, collapse selected, I don't need this one, and now I see here. Okay, we have this black and white noise. I go with offset to 0.5. Let's go inside here. First, I want to use a mat and multiply anything with 2 pi. So mat dot pi multiply by 2. Okay, and now I insert function. I need 2 of them. Okay, first one will take cosine. Second one will take sine. Okay, let's have this in radians. Okay, I want to make the cosine red, as is the value for the x, and this one is the value for the y. And now I use reorder and take input 2 and input 2, input 1, input 2 into 32 RG. Okay. And here, before the mat, if we use a limit and we go into quantize tab, we take floor, and 1 divided by 4, it will give us 4 directions. And so let's check this. Instead of this directions, let's have some angles. Okay, so let's name this angles. Okay, and now everything it's going perpendicular and 90 degrees, and yeah, if you play with the feedback and the threshold, the lines stays longer, and so yeah, you have different outputs. Or you can go inside here, and instead of 1 divided by 4, we can have 1 divided by 6, and so the starting angles are 60. Okay, so this was my tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this, and yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you so much for your support. Bye.